Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video, folks. I'm once again on the Lost Island here on Ark, and this time around I'm going to show you how to tame the Sinomacrops. Now, of course, there's plenty of videos out there, but I found a method that I think is definitely worth considering, and it is, of course, in a specific location. This is what it looks like, and underneath me, or right around the corner from me, is a waterfall, and behind that there is a cave. Sometimes the Sinomacrops do spawn in there, and of course, if they don't spawn in there, this forest does have quite a few of them flying about. This is where I'm at on the map, and of course here are the GPS coordinates for my location. With that said, it's time to toggle the visor off so you guys can see the coordinates. They are 55.8 by 44.9. So this is where I'm currently located. I'm going to show you the fact that there are several Sinomacrops flying about here. So we'll toggle the visor back on. Let's see if we can find them. Sometimes you get a few, sometimes you get a few more, but there's one right there, there's another one right there. Now, of course, as you can see, the Sinomacrops is outside, but there is a way to kite it in. And of course, if you do wear any sort of chitin armor, then of course that will attract the Sinomacrops. They will want to peck at you, and that is your way to kite them in. Now, if you don't have a flyer or anything, and I suggest you don't use a mount, then just basically walk into the cave, and I'll show you the entrance of the cave in a little bit. So first things first, let's put in some chitin armor. I'm going to replace the helmet with the gloves just because I do want to enable the tech visor to actually see where they are. It does help quite a bit. We'll put this back in here. Now, of course, to tame it, you will need to have chitin in your hotbar. You want to put it in your 0 slot, and of course this is a passive tame. I'm going to quickly toggle this up, and let's see if we can aggro a Sinomacrops. We do have to get a bit close to it. Okay, that one's gone in the trees. There's something flying about there, so we'll have to make a decision as to what I'm going to try and aggro here. I am right at the entrance of the cave. That's the back from my mount, so that's the entrance. That's what it looks like. Okay, there's one right close to the entrance, so we'll just basically swim underneath. I'm gonna try and get its attention. So obviously, as you can see, the water is a bit deep. Also, one thing to keep in mind here is that you may have to deal with leeches, so I strongly suggest that you deal with them if that is the case. But also very important here, I did try and do this off a mount. However, the Sinomacrops does seem to panic if you are on a mount, and it will fly away despite the fact that you are wearing chitin armor. So as you can see, we're getting into the cave. Let's see where it's at. Sometimes you may have to go back on yourself. That's fine. We've re-aggroed it, and one step at a time, we're just going to basically kite it in. Alright, it does pay to look back just to make sure. They do have a bit of a big turning radius. Okay, it's flying somewhere, so I don't know what's happened there. Sometimes they do get spooked out, but once you kite them in here, what's nice about this cave is it's very unlikely that they will come out, and you can kite multiple of these creatures in here. And even better than that is at night, because we have those crystals that you can see on the ceiling, it's actually quite well lit, so that does also help. Let's see. Don't know where. Okay, I can see where it is. So this is where the visor does come in handy. It is a bit tedious at times, just because of the water. That's what makes it a bit tedious. There we go. Oh, there we go. You can see the end of the cave, and we already have a Sinomacrops. Now, they don't always spawn in here, but sometimes they do, and you might be lucky to actually find quite a few. So what I do is I will walk up to the end of the water, so right here, basically, and this is where I'll change out my gear for what I normally wear. And sometimes I'll crouch, sometimes I'll stand up. There is sometimes a hot spot or a sweet spot where they don't tend to spook out, so I'll just sit and wait there until they come to me, or remember where the spot is. And as you can see, there's one Sinomacrops fed. As I said, it is a passive tame. It wants chitin. You put it in your 0 slot. Wait for it to come to you. Do not walk to it when it does that. So when it lands, it will come to you. You'll know it's ready to receive its feed because you'll see the hearts coming out, and they'll come towards you like this one. And do not move at that point. Just wait for it to land, wait for it to walk to you. When it's in range, then feed it one chitin. This time around, I'm going to kite in another Sinomacrops. We're going to use the jetpack. Of course, the Sinomacrops does kind of mix between the jetpack from the tech suit as well as with the glider, so you can use the Sinomacrops to kind of mimic the function of the jetpack to some extent. Of course, this one's aggroed on that dung beetle, so we're trying to get its attention. We now have it. So if you do not have the tech armor, once you have your very first Sinomacrops, all you have to do is just slowly fly your way in. It gets a lot easier with your very first Sinomacrops, and as you can see, it's just flying around. Now you will get pecked and you will get hit, but then don't do that much damage, to be fairly honest. And of course, I'm wearing the chitin gauntlets, as you can see, so that is what is attracting the Sinomacrops' attention. And with this, we don't really have to swim anymore. We just hover slowly in. We go at a pace where the Sinomacrops can keep up with us. So it's always got our focus, or we've got its focus, better said, to be fairly honest. As you can see, there's one on the ground right here. Again, I'll land here where the water meets the ground, and then I'll swap out my gear and wait for them to come to me and hopefully feed them. So there we go, hearts. It's gonna land. I'll crouch down just because. Wait for it to walk to me. Now normally I try and feed it the moment I get the prompt. I don't want it to get too close to me. Oh, we got another one right here. That's mighty fine. So now we just wait for them to come back to us and feed them again. Now sometimes you might come in here and you will be just as lucky as I am right now, where there's going to be loads of Sinomacropses. All you have to do is just basically stand at the water's edge, wait for them to come to you one at a time. As you can see right here, I'm just basically taming all of them. I am running low on chitin in my hotbar, so I will have to access my inventory and get some more out of there, but this is totally a possibility. I know I'm not sure if there's a glitch with one of the spawns for the Sinomacrops and they spawn slightly outside the cave then find their way back in or something, but that is a possibility. This may get fixed at some point in the future, which is why I showed you the other method where you can actually just kite it into the cave. Wait for it to land down here. There we go. Oh, we got another one. So I'm just kind of showing you how quick and easy this can be done, and you can tame loads of them. Alternately, you can just continue kiting things from outside. So the Sinomacrops that are outside in the jungle, you can just continue kiting them in, and then just basically have loads of kiting on yourself and be ready to tame, because it's going to be fun just taming them. As you can see, I'm taming one after another, one after another. Some are higher level than others, but it is what it is. Beggars can't be choosers. I'm happy with what I'm getting. Now, what can this do? This acts as a jetpack, so this is the function I was on about. If you want, so you can control your height, you can fly, you can hover, but you can also switch to the glider mode, which is what this is right now. It is actually easier to control than the glider suit, to be honest. And of course, you can always switch between flying and gliding, but you can also use it as a parachute, so it does have that other function. Now, on top of that, what I do like about the fact is no matter how much weight you have in your inventory, these Sinomacrops will pick you up. So yeah, its flight ability is not impacted by how much you are carrying, despite the fact that it has itself a limited weight. I do like that. Now, of course, you can access the radial wheel. You can get it to scream, you can set it to auto scream. Of course, it does have a cooldown timer, as you saw. You can access its inventory. In its inventory, as you can see, weight is not all that big. I would probably focus on stamina because it does need it to fly, hover, and do all those things. And of course, as I said, no matter how much you weigh, I weigh about 560 right now with all the stuff that I'm carrying on me, and it is able to very easily get me flying. So definitely a good substitute. And that is pretty much it. I hope I haven't missed out anything. This is definitely a interesting and nice creature. I can see loads of functionality for it, very much so in caves as well, because it does scare off the Onyx and some small creatures. So definitely worth picking these up. I hope that you have enjoyed it and found it useful and informative. If you have, please don't forget to support me on the channel by hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already for more similar content from myself. And if you have just subscribed, why not check out some of my other videos and guides here on this channel? Who knows, you might just enjoy them. And of course, for those interested, you can always find me on the Sethtopia Discord. And links to this you can find down below in the video's description. Until next time, stay safe, folks.